Hi guys, I hope I'm audible.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Let's start. So yes, this is our second demo as we know. So let's continue with yesterday's class. Okay. So if anyone, Dipit Sharma, I think you attended today only, right? This is your first class.
This is now my first demo, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, right. So actually yesterday I gave one demo. So I'll just repeat concepts very quickly. But before that, could you please tell me about something about you? Like, do you have knowledge on SQL previously? Basic knowledge?
No, I don't have.
Okay. All right.
I'm just start. Okay.
So
So are
are
you
you?
going to
Mhm.
start from scratch or it's
Obviously, of course. Again, I will explain because we are done only. We are just on the basics concept. That is not a problem. So, are you from IT background or non-IT background?
non-IT?
All right. Okay.
Not
Okay, that is fine. No problem. So, yes, let's just continue. Yesterday, I explained about the user interface of MySQL. Here in this, we are using MySQL tool. As we know, SQL is nothing but a structured query language. By using SQL, we will have something called as database. As we know, database is nothing but a place where we will store all the data, right? And SQL is something that it is a language which we will use to communicate with the database. Okay, so here we are using MySQL. This is a tool. Okay, in SQL is a universal declared language, one language which we will use to communicate with the database. Okay, so guys, I'll just try to explain this quickly and let's continue with the yesterday's class as we only finished creating database, creating table and inserting data, right? So let's just try to finish. Let me just quickly explain those concepts once again. So SQL is a one language which we will use to communicate with the database, obviously. So here we will have some tools. Okay, that is MySQL is one tool, and likewise we will have a SQL server like that. We are having some tools. Okay, here we are using MySQL as a tool. Okay, and MySQL is case insensitive. That is, we can use this is the user interface of this is a workbench of MySQL where we will write all the SQL queries. Once we are done with demo classes, I will show you the installation process. So once I open my MySQL, you can see like this. This is the schemas. This is the place where we will have the list of databases. Okay. So here, as I already have in my system many databases, I can see like this. For the first time, you can see only sys database. Once you create any database, you can able to see the list here. Okay, and you can just open a files like this. To open a new file, either the shortcut of opening a file is this one, the first symbol. This is a toolbar, or else in the menu bar from the file option we can click on new query tab. We can able to open a new file, or else directly from the toolbar first option. Okay, the first option here, first symbol, if we click, we can able to see the we can able to open the new file where we will write all the SQL queries. Okay, so this symbol, first symbol. Okay, if I'm clicking, if whenever I'm clicking here, I can open a new SQL file where we will just write all the SQL queries. Okay, so inside this, we will have some options. After writing any SQL queries, if we want to save, we can just click on the second option, save button. And if we want to open any already saved files, we will use this first option. Okay. And the third option is an execute button. To execute any queries, we will use this third option. Okay. So these are the basic basic options or basic settings which we need to know at this point of time. Going forward, we will discuss detailing about some more options which is available in this MySQL workbench. Okay, so at the bottom you can see whenever we execute something, the output will be displayed at the bottom like this. Okay, so yesterday what I explained. So obviously MySQL is case insensitive. That is, we can write either, we can use either uppercase or lowercase, anything is fine. And we will have something called as comments here. Okay, that is whatever I will write inside the comments, that will be non-executable. Okay, basically in SQL we will have some syntaxes. We need to execute this syntaxes, then accordingly according to the concepts we will learn what is that. Okay, so if we want to write any notes kind of thing which we don't want to execute, we will call that as comments. Whatever text we will write inside comments, this is a comment. Okay, I wrote some text here, I don't, this is not a code, I don't want to execute that. So obviously all that kind of notes we can write inside the comments. And we have obviously, like any other languages, here also in SQL also we will have single line comments and multi-line comments. Okay, for single line comments we will use either this symbol, two hashes, two hyphens, or one hash. Any symbol is fine. Either I can write like this, either I can write like this. If we are writing, if we are using these symbols, and inside whatever we will write, that will become our single line comment like this. Right, this is one line, this is not, I mean SQL, if whenever it sees that this is symbol, sees this symbol, it will understand this is not the code, we just wrote something, uh, something like notes here, right? Likewise, we are having multi-lines comment. If we wanted to write anything in multiple lines, we will use symbols like this. This is the start of the comment and this is the end of the comment. Hash star star hash. Okay. In remaining languages also, we will use almost this symbol only for the multi-line comments, right? Next here, in MySQL, semicolon is optional. Okay, that is usually in other tools or previously what it happened, whenever we write any SQL query, at the end if we write semicolon, then SQL will understand. If we execute, SQL will understand that whenever it sees semicolon only, it should, it was it can understand that that is the end of the statement. But here that semicolon is optional. If we don't write semicolon also, no problem. Okay, that is some basic points to understand before starting. Next, we need to know how to create the database. In SQL, basically, we will deal with the SQL in the sense, obviously, we will deal with the data, whatever data it is, whether it is small data, whether it is big data. Whenever by using this databases, we will just store the data and we will just use that data. We will manipulate the data. Going forward, we will learn all the concepts detailing. Basically, we will store the data and we will maintain that databases. Okay, so we will store data inside a database. First, we need to create a database. Inside the database, we will create tables, and inside the tables, we will insert the data and we will use that data. Okay, so for that, first we need to create the database, and this is the syntax of creating database. That is, create database name, right? That is what I wrote here, and I took the example of SQL 8 because I just directly took as we are connecting at 8 p.m. I took database name like this. Okay, we already created yesterday. To After writing like this, we need to select and we need to execute. Okay, here databases names should be unique. I already created yesterday. Now if I execute, it will throw me an error. Okay, let's see. First of all, before doing that, before creating database, first, as I already created this database, I need to activate the database. Here we'll have something called as activate the database. That is, here already I'm having so many databases, the list of databases I can see here. So for now, Maven movies is a database name which is in activation. So every time whenever we are using, first we need to activate that particular database. Suppose if I wanted to use this database, I want to activate that database first. So to activate, we will use command. That is use database name. I need to write like this, use SQL 8. If I use this one, if I execute this one, now this particular table is activated, right? So whatever queries, whatever syntaxes I will execute now, all those syntaxes will store under this database only. Okay, that is one point. We need to create the database, we need to activate the database. Here if I execute now this one, it will throw me error because SQL 8 is already existed. We cannot create the database's name with the uniquely. We need to change the, we should not maintain the same names for multiple databases. Okay, let's see. I'm once again executing create database name. It obviously it thrown me error. Whenever we get error, we can see this cross mark like this. It is showing database exists already, right? If suppose if I change any name here, something like this, if I create, it will be created, right? And once we created any table, sorry, any database, to show to view this database name inside in this list, we need to refresh this. I just now created SQL 81, so I'm just refreshing here. I'm having refresh option. So after refreshing, I can see this database name here, that is SQL 89, right? Whatever databases we will create, we can able to see here. Now if I wanted to activate this, I will write like this, use SQL 81, and I'll execute. Now this particular database is activated, right? That is how we need to create the database. We need to execute, we need to activate the database. Okay, so this is the first steps. Next we need to create the table. Okay, obviously as we discussed yesterday also, we will store the data inside the table, and for that we need to use the create syntax, and the syntax is this one, create table name. Inside the table name we will write, or we will use the column names, right? So so the same thing, if I am writing any, if I'm creating any employees table, if it is in Excel file, we will write like this, employees is our table name, employee ID, employee name, salary, date of joining, right? So this will be our column names. Okay, inside we will write some data like this. If I wanted to store any data, I will write randomly like this. Okay, so here now this is my table name, vertical thing is column, employee ID is one column, employee name is one column, salary, date of joining is one column, and this is my data. Okay, this is my row, this is first row. Whatever I will write here, that will be my second row, like that. So first we need to create table. Whenever we are creating table, we will declare the column names as well, and once we create the table, we will insert the data. Okay, that is what we did here. Okay, the create table syntax is this one, create table name, column. For every column we will define the data type in the sense, it will define data types, helps us to define what values we need to store inside that particular column. Okay, I repeat here, for example, in this Excel file we have one drawback. Of course we can save data in Excel files also, but for example in salary column, if I am writing something like hello or whatever it is allowing me to write, right? It is not throwing me error. Excel is not that robust, it won't say me if I wrote any incorrect data or irrelevant data. So that is the reason databases came into existence. Not only that reason, we have so many uh, limitations within the Excel, which we will discuss going forward. So this is one of the limitation. Okay, so here in databases we need to create the tables in such a way, if we write any incorrect data or irrelevant data, it should stop us and it should throw us an error. Okay, for that reason only we have a concept called as data types. Data types is one such concept. It will defines what kind of data we need to enter in that particular column. Okay, so that is what that is what we are doing here. We are creating table, create table, table name. Inside, after writing table name, we need to use parenthesis. Inside the parenthesis, we will define column name. Employee ID is one column, and we will define that particular data types. Just going forward, I will explain how many data types are there just now. Okay, suppose int in the sense number data type. In employee ID, we want to store number, so I used int. Likewise, for each and every column here, employee name, I used some data type. I didn't explain data types concept till now. For now, just try to understand. I am defining related data types for each and every column. Okay. So for employee name, I used one data type, salary, float. Date of joining is one column and that particular data type. Okay. After, how many columns I wanted to enter in the table, that many columns I will create like this. Okay. And I need to I'll once again execute the same because now this database is an execution, right? If we are using the same database, if I execute once again, it will throw me error, of course, because table names should also be unique. Okay. So let me just execute this. This will create me table. Okay. Now my table got created. Okay, let's see. We can even see the created table, whatever table we create, that one also we can able to see here. Let me just refresh. Now you can see I can able to expand the tables. Here I am having one table name called as employees. Okay, so I created a table. Now after creating the table, I need to insert the data. So to insert the data, that is whatever data I inserted here, I entered here like this. To insert that data inside the table, we will use insert command. The syntax is insert into table name. We need to use keyword called as values, and within that I need to use all these values. Okay, like this is my first row data. So here, after writing values, I will use parentheses. Inside the parentheses or brackets, I will enter each column. The same sequence we need to use. For employee ID is our first column. For this column, I entered 1. For employee name, I entered Ram. Likewise, for each and every column, I entered some data here. And I separated this data by using a separator comma here, right? Whenever we see comma, SQL sees commas, it will understand this is the, you know, particular this is the first column data, this is the second column data, like that. Once we close this bracket and once I use a comma here, SQL will understand this will be our first row, this will be our second row, like that. So let me just execute this. It got executed. Okay, now we created the table, we executed this table. So to display the table, to display the data, I will use select command. Select is one such command, use it to display the data. Okay, so I will write it as select star from employees. Okay, so it is just displaying me the data. Okay, this star is nothing but we will call it as technically asterisk. Asterisk means if we are writing, if we want to display complete data, we will use asterisk like this. Now by using insert command, I inserted 4 rows, right? So by that 4 rows data I'm displaying here now by using select command. Select star from table name is the syntax. That is what I wrote here. Select star from employees is our table name, right? So instead of complete data, if we want to see any particular data, we will write that particular column name, that is employee name. Select employee name from employees. Now it will just display me that particular column data. Okay, up to here only we discussed yesterday. I hope I'm clear for you, Dipit Sharma.
Yes, ma'am.
Great. So let's
But
just
I have,
come.
sorry,
Mhm.
I have a little bit confusion. The difference between create and this use. You have already explained, na, for first time.
No problem, no problem. We will
Okay,
just
so
continue the same
why do we
concept. We will
use create and why do we use? Because both are used for creating a new database, na?
No, it's not like creating a database. For create command is used to create a database. Okay, create a database name will create a database. But after creating database here, if you can see, I'm having so many databases. Okay, so to activate the database, I will use command. So that if not, if I don't activate any particular database, if I just normally execute any statement, if I normally execute this statement, SQL will get confused. It won't understand which database to use. That is the
Okay.
reason every time we need to activate the database. Again, in learning purpose only, we will do this, because in real time, obviously, we will deal with only one database. We will connect to directly our client's data, right? Client's database. In learning purpose, we will create so many databases, right? So like that, if you are having multiple databases, we need to activate the database for the first I mean, in the starting for the whenever we started working, we need to activate the database first, and after activating, we need to use any of the queries. So that is the reason for activating, I will use command here. Suppose we are in and the here you can see normal other databases are in normal color, and whatever it is highlighted here, that is in activation now. For example, let me just, I said select command is used to display the data. Suppose here I'm having any other, suppose I'm having one database called as Divya. I wanted to display some products data here. If I write normally select star from products, SQL will throw me error because currently this database is in activation. In this database, I don't have products table. Let's do that. Select start from products. It is telling that SQL 81.products doesn't exist. That is, products table is if we don't have products table is not existed in this particular database. If I wanted to use this particular database now, I will use Divya. I need to activate that database by writing use command like this. I will execute. Now this is this particular database got activated, and I can execute this statement. It will show me the result like this.
Okay, got it now.
Okay.
So first we have to create and then we have to activate, right?
Right. First, we will create the databases. Whatever database we wanted to work on, that database we will activate and we will work.
Okay.
After creating only, we need to activate.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. So that is about it. Creating the database, inserting the data, and using select command, we can just display the data. Okay, up to here we are done yesterday. Let's just continue the class. So after displaying the data here, let's do one thing. Let me explain about the data types. How many data types are there? And let's see about the data types concept. As I said just now, data type is nothing but data types only will it define what kind of value we can able to store in that particular column, right? That is the technical definition of data type. Okay, data type is used to define what type of value we can store in any column. Okay, so we have so many types of data types in SQL. Mainly we have numerical data type, character data type, okay, date and time data type. Like that, we are having some data types. Okay, let me just show you. So that is what I said. SQL data types, we are having numerical data types, character or string data type. We can just call it as either character data type or string data type. Anything is fine. And next, date and time data type. Okay, like that, we are having some Boolean data type also. Next, Boolean data type. Likewise, we will having some data types, but mostly we will use this three data types only in SQL. Okay, so again, this data types is further divided into these types. Numeric data type is again divided into int and float. Okay, int and float, these two data types comes under numerical data types only. That means these two data types actually helps us to store numerical values. In integer data type, int in the sense integer data type, in this int we will store normal values, normal numbers. Okay, in float, float allows us decimal values also, like 1.2, 2.4. In float we can, it will allows us to store normal numbers along with that decimal values also. Okay, so next we are having character or string data type. This character or string data type again divided into two types, that is char and varchar. Okay, so what is this char and varchar? What is the difference between them? I'll just explain you in a while. Okay, next we are having date and time data type. This is again divided into two types, that is date data type, date time data type. Okay, so let's see. As I said, numerical data type again divided into, actually we'll call it as integer, but we will write as int. Okay, the keyword is int and float. Okay, as I said, int we can store numbers, normal numbers, but in float it will just allows us decimals also. Along with the decimals, if we can even we can even store numbers. If I declare float on any column, it will accept normal numbers along with that decimal numbers also. Okay, next character data type, we will have char and varchar. Okay, and whenever we are defining character data, we need to define size also. In character data, whenever we are defining character data type, we will define size also. Okay, that is what I did here. Employee name is obviously character data. Here I used varchar. What is char and what is varchar, I'll just explain you now. And I'm saying whenever we are defining this character data, we will define the size also. Here I define 20 as a size. That means this size, what it will do, whatever size we will define here, that many characters only we can enter in this particular column. Here I defined the size as 20. So in this particular column name, I can enter up to 20 characters data only, right? I mean, in each row. Like here I entered Ram, like that I can enter up to 20 characters. Okay, that is what size will do. Obviously, every time whenever we are defining for any column, whenever we are defining character data type, we need to define a size. Like this, after char or varchar, we will use parenthesis, and inside that parenthesis, we will define the size. Okay, next, date and time data type. Again here, as you can see, this is again divided into this two data types, that is date and date time. In date we can only store date values, and the format we need to use is like this: first all years, then months, then dates. This is the only format which SQL will accept whenever we are entering the data. Again, we are having some more functions. If we wanted to change this format, we will use that functions. And what is that functions, we will learn going forward. But normally SQL will accept this format. And you can see here, for all the character data and date values, we will write inside quotes, whether it is single quote or double quote. If it is numbers, we will write directly. If it is character data or date values, we will write inside single or double quotes. Okay, and this is the format. Next, date and time, that is date time data type. In this, we can able to store date along with the time. Hours, minutes, and seconds, like this. Okay, this will be our date and this will be the time: hours, minutes, and seconds. So if we wanted to mention, or if we wanted to store date time also, we will use date time data type. Okay, so yeah, I hope I'm clear up to here.
Yeah. So I am having one question.
Yes, please.
You taken that varchar, right? So if varchar has like hundreds of the data limits, so if it's towards the 5 character, then what
That
will happen about the
okay,
space?
okay. That is what I will explain. I just said no. I didn't explain what is char and what is varchar. I will explain
Mhm.
in a while. What is char? What is varchar? What is the difference between them? How it will basically store the size, everything. I will just discuss in a while. Okay.
Sure.
Just leave this and remaining everything is clear, right? If it is boolean, again we'll have only two values, that is true and false. True, false. Okay. So mostly we will use this three data types only: numerical, character, and date time. Okay. I hope up to here I'm clear. Let's discuss about char and varchar now. Okay. So what is char basically? What is varchar? As I said, whenever we are defining character data, we will use either char or varchar. Let's see the difference between them now. Okay. So suppose for the same employee name column, if I define char and if I define the size as 10, I said we will define size also whenever we are using character data, right? So for my employee name column, I'm using char as a data type and defining size as 10. That means I can enter up to only 10 characters in this particular employee name, right? But what char will do and how this memory allocation or how the size will how every the size will how the memory allocation will be done, how the sizes works, everything. Let me just explain now. Just a second. So for example, here I used 10 as a size. So at the back end, what SQL will do, it will just I'm just explaining like this. I'm dividing this box into 10 10 different sections. 1 2 3. Okay, I divided this box into 10 parts. Okay, so whenever we define the size as 10, the SQL at the backend, it will first reserves 10 bytes of memory. Each box here represents one single every byte of memory. Okay, so suppose if I used char as a data type, okay, so and if I enter any data here, so if I enter any data here, suppose let me just enter ram. Okay, so if I am entering some RAM data here, R will store in one box, A will store in second box, M will store in third box. Okay, so obviously each character will take each byte of memory. Okay, 3 bytes are done now. Completely, I used 10 as size. I defined size as 10. It will allocates me, this SQL will allocate for this employee name column, it will allocate 10 bytes of memory. Okay, in this 10 bytes of memory, whatever data I enter, each character will take one byte. Okay, here if I entered RAM, I'm left over with 7 bytes of memory, right? Only 3 bytes I occupied and I left over with 7 bytes of memory. So all these 7 bytes of memory, whenever I use char, char as a data type, SQL will automatically use this by it will just keep spaces here. Okay, all the leftover bytes here is also used by SQL, and for each and every byte it will just take a space, it will just add a space like this for each and every byte. That means whenever I'm using char as a data type, here my memory will be wasted. Okay, because whatever data I enter, irrespective of the size, I mean, suppose I gave some size here, irrespective of the data I enter, SQL will use the complete size whatever I given. Whatever size I define, SQL will use. Here obviously I used only 3 bytes of memory, but SQL is using complete 10 bytes of memory. Whatever I defined, that complete memory will use by SQL if I use char as a data type. Okay, am I clear this point?
Oh, yes, sure.
If anything is not clear, if any doubts, you can ask me.
Yeah, ma'am. As I told you that 7 bytes are left over, na? How
Right.
about if we add more characters like which required more than 7 bytes, then we will get error probably, na?
Yes, that is the reason we need to accordingly we need to define the size. If
But we
I
can
am
update it.
sure, yes, of course, we can update the column. Suppose someone created the table, someone gave only the size as 50. Suppose, imagine someone gave the size as 10. I'm trying to insert the data and it is not taking me. I mean, going forward, we will learn each and every command very clearly. At that time, we can see the errors also. If I'm trying to enter the data, which is suppose here I'm defined only 10. If I try to enter 12 character data, it will just throw me error stating that particular column size is oversized, the data type, that constraint error it will show. Okay, the size is too small to define like that, we will get an error. At that time we will understand what they and we define the size is not, the defined size is not is very small, it is not enough. So at that time we can update this size and data type as well. We will have some commands. One is alter command. We will discuss that going forward in SQL sublanguages concept. By using this command, we can change even the data type. That is, if I wanted to convert this char to varchar, I can change. Even I can change the size also. At that time, again, I will update the size. I will change the size and I will try to update the values like that. Accordingly, uh, first, if we know that,
Hello.
yes, please.
If we have to enter any symbol, so it can enter in the character or it needs a varchar.
It will enter in the character also.
Okay.
All the symbols, numbers, anything is fine. In character and marker, it will take here. If I write one also, it will take at the rate, anything it will take. Character, it will char, it will accept. Varchar also, it will accept. Okay. First, let me explain what varchar will do. Okay. For suppose here I used char. Okay. If I use varchar here, okay, let me write here maybe for the same employee name, if I am using varchar. In the varchar, if I am using 10 as the size, again it will create the same. Suppose it will create the same box. I'm not writing again, I will just, maybe I'll use different color. Again it will just let me use green color. It will as here also I again use the 10 as the size. I'm using varchar here. So if I define data type as varchar, again it will just take the box. I'm just for explanation purpose, to make you understand, I just used a box here, and then I just separated it with some sections here. But basically it will allocate 10 bytes of memory like this. Suppose imagine it took a box, it divided into 10 equal parts, and here if it is varchar, if suppose I entered the same data, so maybe I'll enter here like this. If I entered Ram again in this box, RAM, the same the same process. But what var the use of varchar is that whatever leftover 7 bytes is there, that 7 bytes, it won't, the SQL won't use this 7 bytes of memory. This 7 bytes of memory, actually varchar won't use this 7 bytes of memory, it will just allocate back to the SQL. Okay. If it is char, if we define char, leftover bytes of memory is also used by this column itself. It will just use this blank spaces. But if we define a varchar, irrespective of the data we enter, whatever data is left over, that leftover data is not used by varchar. It will just, that particular bytes of memory will be given back to the SQL. Okay. So as for this, I can say, if I use varchar, memory wastages not happen, right? In char only my memory will be wasted. If I use varchar, as memory is not getting wasted here, I can, whenever if I am not sure what data I am going to enter also, I can directly use any kind of size. I can give 200 size also, no problem. If suppose I entered only 5 bytes of memory also, it will just use only that 5 bytes. Remaining bytes will again allocated back to the SQL. So I don't face any issues while for using varchar. If it is char again, if I use 200 bytes here, it will use. If I use only 10 bytes of memory also, it will use the remaining all bytes of memory with blank spaces. So obviously this with this we will have drawback, correct? The memory wastage will be done because each byte of memory whatever we define, that by all the bytes will be used when we use char. Again, limitation is that, I mean, the data limit for char we can use up to 255 characters. That is, I can give size up to 255 bytes. Here, up to 255 characters only I can store inside char. For varchar, I can store up to 64,000 bytes. 64,524, I guess. Almost 64,000 bytes of memory is used for varchar, and for char only 255 bytes of memory is used. That is 255 characters only we can store inside char. 64,000 characters we can store inside varchar. Okay, that is the concept here. So obviously, whenever we don't know what kind of data we are entering in any column, we will use varchar. We prefer to use varchar because we can give any size we want. Whatever data we are entering, how much data we will enter, that much data only used by that particular column. Leftover data will be given back to the SQL, right? Again, in char, in which scenarios we will use char, in the sense if we know exactly what type of data we are entering, maybe some columns, maybe gender column. If we are using gender column, we know either we will use male, female, like that. So we know what type of data we are entering, how much data we want, that much we can use, right? We can define accordingly. In that cases we will use char. Yes, Anubhav, that is what varchar is suitable, and we use varchar only. That is a recommended one. Okay, because if
Memory
we
efficient.
Mhm.
Memory efficient.
Yeah, memory, because our memory won't be wasted, right? That is the first of all main concept which we need to do whenever we are dealing with any database. We need to, if we need to increase the size more than 64,524 bytes. Uh,
I think it is not usable in the industries like which is greater than
Greater than
64,000.
64,000, yeah. And again,
For that we can use another means variable or a character, and we can append that thing or concat that thing. We can also do that.
How?
yeah, we can also do that, but
How?
just a second, guys.
Hmm. In other databases, I have seen some text uh, data type, but I'm not sure it it will implement or not.
Actually, here we'll have some blobs data type. I mean, if we are using some images kind of thing for text, this will be enough. 64,000. If we are using images, right? If we are trying to store some images in the data types, at that time we will face this problem, correct? Because some images
No,
we will
that is
have.
for the file, right? So blob is for file
Yes,
types, right?
files and file types and images for blobs. But for characters, here that this is only the maximum limit in SQL, 64,000 bytes, especially in
Okay.
MySQL.
Actually, this is one of the questions I someone asked me in the interview.
Acha, okay. Long text also we can use, but in MySQL, I don't think long text is one data type which we can use in a SQL Server to store long characters of textual data again.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah. But in MySQL internally, maximum row limit is this much only, 65,000 or like that, 64,000 or 65,524 bytes.
Oh.
Yeah, in MySQL. In other tools, we can use long text for only textual data. If we want to store any files or images, we can use blobs. Okay.
Mm,
So yeah, this is about char and varchar, and the difference between char and varchar. By using char, memory will be wasted, and by using varchar, memory wastage won't be done. Okay, and I hope I'm clear about the difference between char and varchar. Right?
yeah, sure.
Okay. So yes, likewise, if we know whatever we are, I mean, mostly we prefer to use varchar only, irrespective of what. If it is gender also, if it is male, we will use only 4 characters. If it is female, we will use 6 characters, like that, right? We can also use char, but just to make sure, or if just to save our memory, we will prefer to use varchar every time. Okay, again, suppose if I already define some size here, and some suppose every time what it happens, especially being developers, we will get directly the database. Going forward, we will see that, right? Here also we are going to deal with real-time database only. Directly we will get the database, and we need to understand what kind of data is present inside it, and we will start working on it. So if already someone, or suppose me only personally, whenever I'm defining any column, I define 20 as size. Going forward, I realize that this size is not sufficient for me, then I'll use some other commands, that is alter command, and I can change this size. Okay, like that we are have going forward, we will have all the concepts, we will learn every concept very clearly. Okay, those alter is one command. In SQL sublanguages concept, we will see about that command.
Uh, Means you mean that means varchar is taking very small memory rather than using the boolean type.
No, I just said, suppose for of all, I'm just trying to say I can even update already created data type size. Suppose for the same employees table, now I created employee name. I used this data type as varchar, and I gave the size as 20, right? So going forward, if I needed to enter any employee name whose that that particular name greater than 20 characters, it won't allow me, right? Obviously it will throw me error stating that
What about the
that's
gender?
gender.
Hmm.
What gender? Gender will be another column, right? Here I didn't use the
Uh,
gender column.
so means I just need to ask like if there is a boolean type you have to take, so which one you select? Varchar you select, or means for the true and false, which one
Mhm.
you select? Means boolean or the varchar? If there is a column, it
If
contains
there
true
is
or
true and
false.
false, okay, again it's our wish. We can use either directly boolean, we will use for, suppose I'll create any column. For any column, if I'm using in output, actually in output, if I want only true and false, I can use boolean directly, or else I can use char and varchar. Anything is fine. That boolean and varchar we can choose actually. Obviously the true and false is some text values only, right? So directly we can use varchar, or else I can use boolean also, no problem. It will accept. If for boolean also, it will accept true and false only. It won't accept any other characters. It will accept only this word. I can't write any other word. If I wanted to write any other word, I need to use varchar. Again, inside varchar also I can enter this values, obviously, right? Did you got my point? Suppose I'm writing one column name here. For that, this is a column name. Okay. I know I'm going to enter only Boolean values in that column, either true or false. At that time, I can use directly Boolean as a data type. Okay. So whenever I am entering the data, it will accept only true or false. It won't accept any other data. If it is
Zero and
varchar,
no.
mhm. Yeah,
0
0
and
and
1.
1 also it will accept, obviously. True and false in the sense 0 and 1 also it will accept. But any other words, if I can write like true like this, it won't accept. If like it will become the character data again. At that time, we will need to use varchar or char like that. Okay.
Oh,
Ma'am, yesterday
So
I asked the questions regarding Python development.
yes,
I
yes,
think,
yes, Anubhav. Correct. So you asked about as being a fresher, is there any need to learn Python, something like that, right?
yeah,
So
ma'am.
mhm. Actually, I personally suggest as you are a recent graduate, right? The completely fresher. So again, it's up to your choice, our own I mean, your own individual choice that whatever you want to choose, which field you wanted to choose. If you you know currently what is the in current scenario, either data science or full stack development, those domains are having great demand. So if you particularly interested in any one field, if you wanted to choose any one field, you can choose accordingly. If it is data science, you can learn first SQL. Any domain, SQL is must. Along with the SQL, you can learn any visualization tool or Python for data science. If it is full stack, you can learn Java related or full stack. Python is needed for any data field. Yes. Again, accordingly, you can select the subjects. But again, as a fresher, as you are direct fresher, I won't suggest you to waste your time in learning all the subjects for now, because in current scenario, not only in current scenario, we know what is happening in India, right? If we have gap, it will become a little bit harder for us. It will become a difficult task for us to enter into the IT industry. So, as you are a recent fresher, try to learn at least one subject. SQL first, try to learn SQL perfectly. Just try to attend some interviews along with the SQL. If you really wanted to, I mean, again, it's your choice. If you wanted to start your career as a SQL developer or a normal, you know any kind of, as a fresher in any companies, you can even try only with SQL also. Eventually you can learn parallelly some other subjects depending upon the choice you have, depending upon the interest you have. If you want, you need to first, if you need to have, you need to decide what field you need to choose. Accordingly you can learn the corresponding subjects. I'm not saying that no need of learning multiple subjects. Nowadays Python is one subject which is again that is, being any programmer, you need to learn Python at least up to, some basics of Python, maybe up to, I don't talk anything technically for now. At least basics of Python you need to know. If and as you're saying, you're already from graduate
CSE
only, no BTech
background.
background, obviously. So you already have Python as a subject in BTech, right? I'm not if I'm sure.
Yeah, ma'am, it's in curriculum. It was in.
It is in yeah, yeah. So that basic knowledge is enough for you to start your career.
All right, ma'am.
Okay. So the only suggestion is that if you know take so much of gap, that will be a little bit difficult task for us to enter into the IT industry. So just learn parallelly and try to attend interviews. And again, in this current scenario, SQL, Python is must to learn, whether it is any field. Okay, whether it is, you can choose any domain. Those two subjects became, we need to eventually, again, you can even check, don't listen to anyone's word, anyone's everyone will have their own opinion. You can just check directly. If you are, as you said, as far as I remember, you are from Bangalore, I guess, right, Anubhav?
Yes, ma'am, right.
Yeah. So
Currently.
just check, just check any Naukri or any job portals. Just go through once. Check for any jobs for freshers, whatever it is they are asking. Obviously, if you check any job profile, they will ask so many languages, but at least learn SQL and some basics of Python. Whatever subjects you are having in the concepts, whatever you're having in curriculum is enough for you. The Python, almost all the basics concepts is covered in the current curriculum, right? So that will be more than enough for you.
Yeah, ma'am. Ma'am, when you will start a Python batch, I think, ma'am, it's curious to learn from you.
No. Currently, I'm not explaining Python. Currently, I'm explaining only SQL and Tableau.
Okay. Means you are
Do you
taking
know
only
any
Tableau and
faculty who teaches Python? Even I also want to join.
Python within DurgaSoft.
your organization. Yes, ma'am.
Any organization, if you know any good faculties.
I have learned from the Durga sir. Means they have created a course in Udemy, so I have learned from there. So I know the basics.
Okay, yeah. Within DurgaSoft, yeah, Durga sir and NagoorBabu sir, they only teach Python. So yes, and suggestions. I'm not supposed to suggest any outer, any other name here. So
Asking in your organization only.
Actually, guys, the DurgaSoft is good for Django also. So
yeah, for
Yeah.
Python, DurgaSoft is, that is okay. Actually, for remaining subjects, I don't know exactly, but Python,
Which
yes.
faculty, ma'am? Which faculty? Because I heard Durga sir is not teaching nowadays.
Yeah, ma'am. Nowadays he is not
Now,
teaching.
yeah, he's not teaching
NagoorBabu is
currently.
taking classes.
Yeah, NagoorBabu is that sir is teaching Python. I
Prakash
didn't
Babu
watch
sir, I think.
recent videos. I really didn't watch, guys. Just give me some time. I'll update you. Let me
No,
just
issue.
watch their videos in YouTube so I can understand. Uh, Frankly, I didn't saw their how they are explaining.
All right.
Just attend demo videos. You can come to any conclusion. Okay, so yeah. If you have any questions in SQL part, you can ask me. Going forward, as yesterday only I showed you course content, right? So the same course content we will follow. As you attended today, you will get a mail also tomorrow. In that mail, they will include this course content link also. Please go through this course content link. We will discuss each and every concept with examples very slowly along with a real-time database, that is movies database. By using examples, we will learn everything very practically. By solving examples only, we will learn. And as you know, you will get the access of 6 months for the videos and notes. I will upload it for you, and this database also I will directly upload it for you. You can download and you can uh, solve the examples, or you can just practice for practice purpose. You can use this database.
Divya, basically, is it this batch is closed on Saturday, Sunday, or what? You are going to take or what? Basically,
uh, are you talking about demos, Parag?
no, for the main batch.
Yeah, actually to
Mhm.
be frank, I'll take classes from Monday to Friday, but
Hmm.
if needed I'll take Saturday. Like that, we will
Okay.
discuss about that in Friday. Suppose if we get any holidays in between, any festivals in between, just to complete the course, I will take some Saturdays, maybe 1 or 2 Saturdays at the end if needed. At least I will take, I know I will take at least 2 Saturdays in the end of the course. I mean, in the last, for the whenever we are discussing about the last classes, maybe Saturdays, no Sundays, but like that. Accordingly, we will discuss it on the Friday and we will decide.
Okay. Okay,
Okay.
sure. No
Yeah.
problem.
Sushovan, no, he already attended my SQL class and Taboo class, right?
So Tableau I didn't attend. I just attended like
Yeah,
5
you
minutes
only
class.
some classes. Correct, of course. All right. So what this is about it. And this is our last demo, guys. Tomorrow the link will be changed. Whoever get registered, they will get a new link. Again, Zoom link only. Just follow that link to attend the class. Okay.
Sure.
Okay, ma'am. Have a nice day, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, guys. Bye. Let's meet tomorrow.
Thank you.
Yeah. Bye.